The storyline with Bayley has been very stagnant in recent weeks, but there is a little something to talk about. We'll also see what's up with Tatum Paxley, Alexa Bliss, and more. Starting things off with Bayley and the latest there with her. Ever since this split personality gimmick was first introduced for Bayley, her story and persona has sorta been all over the place. At first they were telling the story of Bayley battling different voices in her head. Then it turned into the showcase of Bayley switching to her other personality if she got slapped or frustrated. And then, right after that, the character story sort of came to a full stop. Not much progression at all after that, which led fans to believe that the new act for Bayley was dropped. And then Blake Monroe introduced her split personality with her Woman from Hell persona, and fans speculated and wondered if that could have been also the reason why Bayley lost the new act. Bayley teamed up with Lyra several weeks back, and everyone was expecting some type of big betrayal moment between the both of them, maybe where the heel voice in Bayley's head really takes over, but we haven't seen any of that quite yet. The November 17th edition of Raw featured some backstage segments for Bayley that did give us a little something to break down and discuss. Bayley was seen backstage, having a friendly conversation with Lyra about the gym, when she suddenly sees Asuka and Kairi Sane standing over to the side, so Bayley steps away from Lyra to speak with Asuka and Kairi. They wanted to offer Bayley the fifth and final spot on the heel side of the women's War Game match, claiming that if Bayley is willing to forget the past, they'd love to have her fight on their team in that last spot. But Bayley laughs and turns the offer down due to everything Asuka and Kairi's put her through during that horrific breakup of Damage Control in early 2024. And it's like if Bayley had a little split personality changing moment right there, even through the conversation with Asuka and Kairi. Bayley starts by laughing loudly, yelling, and being animated, but she gets herself together towards the end and simply tells them no in a calm voice. Lyra walks over and brags about how proud she is of Bayley for turning them away, but she got over what she was going through and how Bayley is perfectly all together again. Lyra wants to do her special handshake with Bayley, but Bayley mocks her, asks her if she's 5 years old, calls her an idiot, and then they walk off together. So the most important detail about this Raw segment here for Bayley is that it is confirmation that Bayley's split personality act is continuing. That's the biggest takeaway from that segment right there. Everyone was thinking over the last few weeks that the gimmick was dropped, that Bayley was moving on from that act, and that has turned out to not be true at all. Bayley lashing out at Lyra there at that end of the segment confirms that the split personality act is still alive and well for Bayley, and that they're going forward with it. What's also interesting about this segment is what exactly triggered Bayley and got her to change her personality. Over the last few months, it was slaps and aggression that triggered Bayley's other personality to come out. But in this segment here with Asuka and Kairi, they weren't really aggressive towards Bayley, and they didn't put any hands on Bayley. So what exactly was the point of her getting triggered? It is a little bit unclear, but it's possible that maybe seeing Asuka and Kairi's faces, hearing the offer, and remembering her complicated past with them is what triggered Bayley to enter this other persona, the heel persona. So this segment also confirms that getting slapped is not the only way Bayley's other side could be triggered. It seems like there's many different ways and different things that could get Bayley to turn. It's good to also at least have that confirmation that the story and act wasn't dropped at all like everyone was originally feeling. It's still continuing, but the progression of that story right now is just not at a high speed. It has definitely slowed down immensely in recent weeks, but it's still going on, and they apparently still have something in mind for the split personality act with Bayley. We saw Lyra have a short moment of celebration there towards the end of the segment, thinking that all of Bayley's internal issues were finally resolved, but Bayley revealed that she is not healed one bit. This storyline is back in full gear, so expect Bayley and Lyra to continue to be paired up with each other, and expect to see Bayley continue to struggle with her split personalities. There's definitely going to be a big payoff coming up there that potentially includes Bayley simply not being able to control the voices anymore and letting all those bad and intrusive thoughts finally win. So we'll have to see how that story continues to unfold for Bayley and Lyra. Something really awful happened this week on Raw during Alexa Bliss's promo segment that did have the whole community chiming in. And it wasn't something awful because of the talents or WWE themselves. The awful thing came from the live fans in MSG. There was this big narrative in place for the Women's War Games match about Charlotte walking out and quitting on her team. So Alexa Bliss comes out to cut a promo, but Alexa speaks directly to the camera and addresses Charlotte Flair directly, trying to speak some sense into Charlotte, going over their history, speaking about the War Games match, just giving this amazing heartfelt promo that really is doing wonders and pushing that story forward. But Alexa's work was absolutely destroyed by the live fans that decided to spam Alexa with "what" chants for the entire promo. As a heel, Alexa used to destroy crowds that would give her the "what" chant when she was speaking. But here's a babyface. It wasn't really her character to fire back at the fans. So she tried her best to address those chants, but in a friendly babyface way to keep the promo going. And a lot of people just feel like those fans really ruined some amazing work here from Alexa Bliss, basically drowning her out, dismissing the promo, and being completely disinterested in it. Maybe the whole "what" chant would have got a little pass if Alexa was a heel, if she was an evil character, if she was scheming and being deceptive about what she was saying. Then maybe at that point, you can understand the crowd answering back with the "what" chants and being hostile towards her. But for the fans to treat a pure innocent babyface character like this version of Alexa Bliss in that fashion, everyone at home was just legitimately shocked and embarrassed to watch that unfold. Hopefully it's not a trend. Hopefully it was just a one-night thing from the rowdy MSG crowd, but a lot of fans did not enjoy how that all unfolded there. But as far as things go with Alexa Bliss, that tension there with Charlotte Flair appears to be fully squashed. Charlotte returned to save the day, save Alexa, and reunite with the babyface women's War Games team. So all is well again there for them for the time being. But it'll be interesting to see what happens with Alexa and Charlotte after Survivor Series is completed. If they're no longer going after the tag team titles, could a split be coming for Charlotte and Alexa? What really makes everything feel like the split is coming soon is how WWE already teased Charlotte versus Jade Cargill, and how Jade has absolutely no one to feud with right now. So that made fans wonder if they're breaking Alexa and Charlotte up soon for that big WWE women's title program. The heartbreak narrative continues for Tatum Paxley. Despite aligning with the heel faction for a while now, Tatum Paxley was still a wholesome babyface even as a member of that faction. All Tatum Paxley ever wanted was some friends and to fit in. And every time she does find that, it ends in misery for her. She was close friends with Lyra. Lyra understood her, but Lyra got called up to the main roster, therefore leaving Tatum all alone again. Then Tatum becomes close friends with Shotzi and Gigi Dolan, but then those two end up getting released by WWE, once again leaving Tatum Paxley all alone. And then Tatum met Izzy Dame, who took Tatum under her wing and brought her into the culling. But it was one of those situations where you can tell Izzy Dame wasn't being genuine about her friendship with Tatum, but Tatum couldn't notice that because she was just so desperately in need for her to be her friend. But when Tatum becomes NXT Women's Champion, that's when Izzy really blew up with jealousy, and that led to Izzy finally betraying Tatum and costing Tatum the NXT Women's title to Jacy Jayne after just a few short weeks as champion. So Tatum is back in the market for a new friend, and it'll be interesting to see if this new friend could be from NXT or even from the main roster. So that's a story to watch out for. But what are your thoughts on today's stories? Leave your comments below. Don't forget to subscribe with all notifications on, and leave a like if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, guys.